All right, everybody, welcome back. We're going to do part C of the offering. It's a 420 Bible study and Torah tour. I'm Charlie. I'll be the tour guide. I'll be your coach. I've got a team I'm building. It's called the Lions of Judah. You can check us out on Facebook. We correspond the Facebook with the YouTube videos to make sure we actually learn the Bible, the Torah, Jesus, Moses, Hashem, the prophets, and everybody. So today we're doing a better workout. We've done the Rocky theme. We're going to flip it over to Ivan Drago to give him a little speech that he says, and then we'll continue with the day. Part C, we're going to look at the offering and the words again, and the grain offering.
What's the structure? Somebody said push my hand. What started out as a joke has turned out to be a disaster.
Stu Nahan, remember him? My dad's client.
He dies. He dies. He dies. He dies. He dies.
Guess what, guys? I'm not going to die. Well, at some point I will, but right now I've been resurrected full life because I was totally bleeding with ulcers and blood transfusions, and now I actually have full blood and full life at that point. I don't have to go to the doctors anymore necessarily. I'm not lying on a gurney. I'm not approaching death. I'm approaching life, and I'm reading about heaven, and I'm describing it because of the endocannabinoid system in cannabis. So with that, let's get to Eye of the Tiger, just from some background music, but I want to start showing you the letters as we get into Genesis 41:5 for the grain, Leviticus for the grain offering, and then we'll finally figure out the offering, the grain, and why the abundance was Jacob's blessing. So here is a letter, K. We did this yesterday, but it was a different K. This is actually number 12. Oh, we did this yesterday, number 12. Today we're going to do 13, which is this. The music's. We're going to do 13, which is K and Kaph. Kaph, right? Which is very interesting because at that point this is CH and this is K. But if you drop the C, you just get an H, right? Well, look, a land flowing with milk and honey, minus the K, you just get honey. Now, Canaan, cane, sweet cane, a land flowing with milk and honey, sweet cane, sugar cane, right? So we've got honey. If you actually put the CH back in the honey, you get the real word Canaan from the Hebrew. And here's an interesting thing. In looking at these, we're back to the dot, right? We got Kaph, CH, and it's not Charlie, it's Carly, Kaph, with no dot. You add the dot back in, and you get K, as in Kinnaman, or Bosom, or Canaan, or Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel, can you and are you able? You also get the words cannibal. Cannibal. Interesting, right? So with that, I want to show you something else. So here it is. Okay? CNH, pure cane sugar, right? We'll do it on this side. It's actually a little easier. CNH, pure cane sugar. It's all white, like a white robe. There's not a speck of stain in this packet, right? But it's missing an H. It says sweet, pure, what's it say? Pure cane sugar. Well, is this pure cane from Cain and Abel? Interesting. Is it missing an H? Canaan? Like we looked at the Hebrew? It's right here, guys. CNH. Cain, C-K-Q-N-H. Kaneh. Kaneh, right? So we have K, as in Kaph, which is the Hebrew letter that starts Kaneh Bosom. Kaneh. We also have another K, K and K, Kaph, Kaph. Okay? Totally different looking letters, right? But we're going to throw in this, and we get the dot in the middle, no dot, and the actual K. Ironically, all of these are all the letter K sound. K sound. There really is no honey. It is yo or O, but there's really no honey sound. So a land flowing with milk and honey is Kaneh. Cain and Abel. Cain worked the soil. Kaneh. Bosom. It's the one seed, the one plant. It's hemp. I love looking at the word etymology, and way too much time on that. We've got so much to do. Oh wait, so we looked at one packet of sugar, right? Here's another packet of sugar, and it says, enjoy life's sweet pleasures. Okay, life, sweet, pleasure, pleasing, aroma. This is for coffee, though, to sweeten up the bitter taste of coffee, right? Well, don't you ground the grinds of coffee and the aroma gets you? Well, that's what cannabis is. The fire grounds the stuff. The aroma starts to blend. You breathe it through the funnel. It's like making coffee. Getting high is like the process of brewing coffee, right? You get all your ingredients, you add water, you turn it on, and fire, heat, electricity generates, and you drink liquid, and you have energy. Same thing for cannabis. So on the backside, though, what I finally love is, you know how we look at the word majesty and splendid of glory as the smoke and the pillar and the power of God? Well, ironically, it's splenda. So right here, you guys have splendid, majestic, Kaneh. Splendid Kaneh, right? So with that, let's get over to some Laura Daigle and get on some regular music, and we'll get back to our Bible study. We're going to open up in Genesis 41:5 for part C, and apparently I have done too much. I did too much on YouTube for opening tabs because I want to do all the stuff for you guys, and I blew it because it all closed out and I just shut it down. So with silence, Genesis 41:5, we're going to look at the grain, because remember, Genesis 27:27, we'll look at that real quick, just for the word. Jacob is given the blessing, the wrong kid, but here it is. Ah, the smell of my son, a field the Lord has blessed. May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness. God or money, earth's God. Earth's richness is God's money. It's Kaneh. Not money, but honey. Honey, sweet. Kaneh, money, sweet. Kaneh, money. Kaneh, honey, money. So, may God give you earth's dew and heaven's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. An abundance of grain and new wine. Grain, an abundant grain. Now, grain is the grain offering, and we'll get to, where am I? Genesis 41, sorry. Genesis 41, let's see the description of the grain so we better understand the book. Because we're going to get into the New Testament, but I want us to understand what Jesus understood and the personality of God as we look at the blessings and cursings later today in Psalm 78. So Pharaoh's dreams, okay, Genesis 41. When 2 full years passed, Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile River. When out of the river, or out of the stream, came up 7 cows, milk, sleek and fat. Sleek and fat. Now remember, Cain and Abel's offering, fat offerings versus some of the offerings. And that's the difference. Are we going to give our whole heart or half of it, like lukewarm, or are we going to give none of it? At that point, we're gradually going from none of it to lukewarm. We're getting hotter. We're getting hotter. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Yeah, the whole game of hot and cold, right? So 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed among the reeds. And they grazed among the cane. They grazed among the Choney. They grazed among the Choney Bosom. They grazed among the reeds. They grazed among the calamus. Rod. All of those words equal reeds. So the cows provide milk and they're eating reeds. That is, don't stop an ox from eating. Don't muzzle an ox. That's one of the laws. Don't muzzle an ox when he's threshing grain, because you want him to eat the grain too. You'll have plenty of grain, but you want him to eat the grain, so you don't muzzle him, and therefore he can have energy while he does his work. That's why we breathe, and we breathe and work without distraction. So after them 7 ugly cows, gaunt, came up out of the Nile. So 7 cows, good looking, not so good looking. But they're both cows, so they're identical practically. And the cows were ugly and gaunt, 7 sleek and fat cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. So apparently that was a dream. He fell asleep again and had a second dream. And remember, everybody has dreams. The interpretation comes from God, though. We have dreams. We have visions. So do the prophets. But as Joseph says, and the cupbearer and the bread maker story, the interpretation is from God. So he fell asleep again and had a second dream. 7 heads of grain, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them 7 heads of grain sprouted thin and scorched by the east wind. Thin grain scorched by the east wind is exactly what happened to Jonah when a worm ate the God provided a leafy plant, and it provided shelter, and the wormwood ate it the next day, and God provided a scorching east wind. So we've got a scorching east wind, which is God. It's not wind like those streams wind through the land of Havilah. It is the wind. God is the air and the wind and the heat. So then Pharaoh woke up. It had been a dream. In the morning his mind was troubled. So our mind is either peace or troubled. So that's the grain. Let's get over to the grain offering in Leviticus real quick, and we'll look at that. So the burnt offering, the grain offering. But at the end of Exodus, I'm going to pause there real quick. It says the glory of the Lord, just as a reminder, because this is practice, right? We want to practice the book every day. We want to hit the cage every day. Can you imagine if you hit the cage every day, how good you'd be in 30 days? You'd be awesome, right? So with that, then the cloud covered. Cloud cover. Let's talk about that real quick. Next time you look up to the heaven or the sky and see the blue waters above you, and you see the sunlight, which is basically a big fireball, right? Well, that's where all the days start. That's where the days are, and the days are coming. Maybe the sun's coming back, right? Maybe it's S-O-N-S-U-N. Who knows? It's S-N in Hebrew, which is either sun or shun, right? Love or good or evil, right? So it said, the cloud covered. So when you see the covering of the clouds next time, you might think, hey, there's God in the atmosphere. Awesome. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting. The cloud covered the tent of meeting, earth, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle, which is the tent of the meeting. And we want to fill the earth with the glory of God, Ephesians 5, right? So Moses could not enter the tent of the meeting because The cloud had settled on it. He couldn't even enter because the cloud was so thick. Thick butter, thick cloud. Interesting. And the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. The glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. So, the grain offering, this is the blessing. In abundance of grain, may God give you heaven's dew, manna, Jesus, the bread of life. Here's the grain that makes the bread, right? And by the way, the grain, 7 heads of grain, healthy and good or sleek and fat, all growing on a single stalk. When anyone brings a grain offering to the Lord, their offering is to be of the finest flour. They are to pour olive oil on it, put incense on it, and to take it to Aaron and his sons, the priests. The priest shall take a handful of the flour and oil, together with all the incense, and burn this as a memorial portion on the altar, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. The rest of the grain offering belongs to Aaron and his sons. It is most holy part of the food offerings presented to the Lord. The grain offering, oh my goodness, wow. So the grain offering is of the finest flour, which is fine flour, all white, right? Let's stay on that flour sugar aisle for a second. But how do you spell the word flour? Is it F-L-O-U-R, as in fine flour like white powder? Or is it fine flour as the best flour ever, the only seed, Leviticus 19:19, hemp? Right? Interesting. So, there you take olive oil, incense, and the finest flour. If you only have one seed, now you have 3 things from one seed. Hemp starts to grow. You can do many things with hemp. So, in the next 3 minutes, I'm going to flip and see if I can find Nehemiah, if I can. And I want to get to Nehemiah something. I'll look at my notes, but I want to find it. Hosea, Daniel. It's after Daniel. Hosea, Joel, Jonah, Obadiah, Micah, Amos, Micah, Habakkuk, Nahum, Zephaniah, Zechariah. Nehemiah. I didn't see it. Interesting. Nehemiah, anybody? Oh, wow. This video might end without us getting to Nehemiah. We'll do it in another video. But Nehemiah 9:20, as strange as it is, I'm literally in the book of the prophets, and I can't find it. Okay, so with that, we'll practice the prophets. You guys ready? Okay, so the not smaller or bigger, better or worse, but just different prophets. Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Habakkuk, Nahum, Zephaniah, and Zechariah. Well, I'm going to try Nahum. Maybe it's Nehemiah. 9:20. Let's see what happens. It's not 9:20. There's no 9. Well, there you have it. So we have the grain. Actually, no, we don't have it. The grain. Oh. What was it? Exodus. Oh, man. Oh, Nehemiah 9:20. Actually, let me look it up real quick. I want to end the video and wrap it up. So let me see if I can just do Bible Gateway and open it up real quick. I got about a minute. Clothes did not wear out. CLOTHESD. Guys, this is not working very well. Not wear out. All right, so it is. Oh, well, actually, there's a bunch of them. Deuteronomy 8:4. Okay, let's go to Deuteronomy 8:4 and read it. If I can get there. We got a long day, a lot of good stuff, guys, so stay with me. Deuteronomy 8:4. This is going to be the last sentence of the day in the last few seconds. 8:4. Here it is. Listen, 8:4. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way out of the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you for 40 years in order to know what was in your heart. Here's the test: whether you would keep his commands. He humbled you, causing you to hunger in the desert, and then feeding you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had known, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word or smoke that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Here it is. Your clothes did not wear out, and your feet did not swell up during these 40 years. Hemp, clothes, the endocannabinoid system, one seed. Baruch Hashem. We'll see you soon.